Hello, my name is Holly, and I will be your counselor today. How are you doing?
I'm just good.
Okay, well, before we begin, I just want to review my confidentiality policy with you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so anything you share between us will be confidential unless one of these three instances occurs. One, I believe you are a harm to yourself or others. Two, I have reason to believe there's a risk of child abuse or child neglect. And three, if I've been subpoenaed by the court. Otherwise, any information shared during the session will stay between us. Does that make sense?
Okay. What about my parents?
Only if I feel that you are in crisis and at extreme risk of harming yourself or others will I have to reach out to them or authorities. Otherwise, it'll stay strictly confidential. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. Good.
You okay?
Yeah. Okay.
I had a chance to look over your file before you came in, and I was noticing that your parents referred you here with suspicion that you've been presenting anger issues. Does that resonate with you?
No. So what I said was like I had anger issues. Like they told you I had anger issues.
Yeah. So on the self-referral form, we got it from your parents. It can be a self or a peer referral, and they had just mentioned that you were presenting symptoms and that it had been intensifying over time. Has there been any sort of new stressors in your life that might be?
I feel like my parents are the stressors in my life right now. Because personally to me, I feel like this was, I don't know, maybe because of the argument that we had. Most times it's just like I feel like they are finding it difficult to understand me. Now, what am I saying is I was trying to make them understand that I can make decisions on my own, but they're finding it hard to understand and to accept that. What they're doing most of the time is they make decisions, and whenever I go against that or want to try to like do my own thing, they find it like I'm angry or I'm not like them. Just in quote, my parents feel like not obeying them is you angry about the decisions they made. And I feel like no, like we just used to have like this argument back and forth, and I was just surprised that I was asked to come here because I don't think I'm the one that is meant to be here. My parents should be here, not me.
I understand completely how you feel. And in your terms, what does anger look like to you? What is your definition of anger?
To me, I feel like anger is like when you are always like, let's say, physically breaking things, destroying things, or making this like facial expression that is like scary or looks like you want kind of harm or attack someone. But I've not done any of that. All I did was to just tell them that, oh, I think let me do this my own way and let me see what you think. But the talk has always been do this, do this, do this from my parents. But I feel like, okay, I'm old enough to like do these things. Can you just give me the chance to just do something? And all I need for you is just direct me and correct me. That's just the discussion. It's just like an argument and disagreement. But for them feeling like I have anger issues to things that I feel like I have right to, it's kind of crazy and funny.
And most commonly, we do think of anger as expressing those physical emotions of breaking things, facial
Yeah.
expressions. However, anger is an emotion, which means there's not just a physical side to it, there is an emotional side where sometimes that can present itself, not just in breaking things. So maybe this is why they are seeing anger issues presenting in yourself, but maybe it's more of an emotional side as opposed to a physical reaction.
So if I what you're saying now is like anger can be like in different ways, not just ordinary physical. But I feel like when I was talking to them, I was talking to them like, yeah, she's my mom and he's my dad. So I have never kind of like, no, I'm not doing this. And like, maybe I've done that once. And that was where like it got to, I was like very, very angry with like everything they said, just because they are not trying to like listen to me. They just want them to listen to like them. That's, I don't know, maybe that's why I got it from. I don't know.
And do you feel that this has intensified over time? Have you been getting in more arguments more frequently with your parents?
Yeah, I have. Because of the fact that, like, it's just like this way. I'm telling you that this is me, and you are telling me that no, this is what I want you to do. So I'm trying to like express myself to them, but I feel like they are not listening. But what they are doing is, no, this is what we want you to do. Like they always want me to do what they decide, not what me I decide. So I feel like that's why it's causing the arguments frequently.
And that's why it's sort of intensifying, and that's why your parents decide to send you.
Yeah.
Okay. And has there been any changes or anything recently in your life that you think would maybe be causing an uprise in arguments?
No, I feel like in my own self, I feel like I'm getting to a stage where I can make decisions on my own. Like right now, I'm about 18, so I can actually be independent. But they are not trying to like give me that space to do that, and it's making me feel like oh maybe they are saying the fact that maybe I can't do this and that's getting me really like angry and nervous that why should you not just give me space? Give me like I don't know if you're getting like just give me this.
Is it okay if I break it down for a second? Just try to explain it better? How I like to kind of analyze my own feelings is in parts. Don't think of yourself as a whole, separate yourself into parts. Part of you can feel that you need to say yes to your parents all the time because they are providing you shelter, providing you food, and supporting you. However, part of you has now reached that age where you feel independent and you want this autonomy. And that's okay. There can be conflicting parts of yourself, which is why sometimes we then present our emotions in ways that are not understandable to ourselves or others around us because we're at conflict with ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think maybe next step would be realizing that there is a part of you that does want to be independent now that you've reached 18. And maybe that needs to be a conversation with your parents that the overbearingness is starting to intensify these issues and create conflict.
But personally, I feel like that is the same thing I'm doing. Like getting to that stage in my head and my emotions, like I feel like the need for me to like do something. And I'm trying to like tell them that okay, I can do this. But I feel like they are still seeing me as that little boy, which, and I get that part, I understand that, but I'm trying to like express myself to them that this is what I'm feeling, this is the state where I am mentally. For them to understand that, and they're finding it very difficult. That's where all this whole thing comes from.
And what you just explained to me, them seeing you as a little boy and you now being much older and feeling that they shouldn't be viewing you as that little boy anymore.
Yeah.
Have you said that to your parents? Or did you just have that realization here today?
I just like kind of have that. And in my head, it's kind of like an assumption, which I feel like that is what is clouding their mentality, and that's why they are limiting it.
And do you think if you express that realization that they're viewing you as a little boy and you are growing up now and want independence, do you think they would listen?
I hope they do because they've not been listening to what I'm saying all along. But I hope like maybe I can just tell them this and just express myself this way. They will understand that.
And before, they could have been viewing you just all of a sudden, you were their little boy, and now you're just angry all the time. And that was their only view of you. My little boy is now just angry all the time. However, there really was a bunch of parts to you that ended up leading to that angry boy. There was part of you that felt bad because they were supporting you and you didn't want to say no to them. There was part of you that wanted your independence, and there was part of you that was still figuring out what those emotions meant. I think if you took the time to sit them down and maybe explain this to them, they'd be able to now see that there are parts to you and you're not just that angry boy and that there were reasons for that anger.
Yeah, I think what kind of realize now is anger is not like really when you are physically like fighting with someone. So I feel like maybe the way I'm expressing myself is what is kind of making them feel like I was angry. I think maybe I could actually like do it in a different way, or like sitting them down and letting them understand that I'm not really that little boy anymore, that I've grown and there's some needs which I want them to understand and meet. So I feel like, yeah, I get it now. I think I can express myself more properly, and I hope they understand this time.
And do you feel comfortable sitting? Do you feel that you've made enough progress today and that you've come to this realization that you will be able to sit in front of them and explain to them how you've been feeling? Or would you like some help with that?
All along, I've been like always sitting there in front of them, but they're my mom. In as much as we have this ups and downs, I still love them. And I'm like one thing I don't just like understand is why they are not understanding or not getting my point. So if I feel like if I try to this time be more calm and make everything obvious to them, they will do that.
Yeah, and I think what's also important would be to maybe consider that the reason they sent you here is because they want your relationship to be repaired. They want to be able to sit down with you and have conversations and not have that anger come up in the situation. So as much as you're also realizing your emotions, it wasn't that they were sending you here because they thought there was something wrong or that there was a problem. They also want to take a step in repairing the relationship with you, which is a good sign. That means that they want you to be able to express yourself to them, so they want to hear you. It's just the only thing they were hearing at the time was anger because you were unaware to express those emotions in a different way.
Yeah, I understand.
Does that kind of make you feel better about maybe having the conversation with them,
Yeah,
knowing that they do want to hear you and they do want to know how you feel? It was just a little bit hard for them to understand before when the anger was kind of overtaking the other emotions.
yes, I kind of understand. So I feel like I will just express myself in a more calm way and make them realize it instead of me kind of like shouting or like raising my voice. I could just actually like express myself in a more calm way. And I feel like maybe they will understand.
Yeah. Amazing. And do you feel that today you've made a realization and progress within
Yeah,
yourself?
I have just like specifically on anger. To me, I feel like anger is just like breaking things up. When I realize like there's more to it.
And do you feel that now you're able to take the next step?
Yeah, I feel like the next thing I would do is to just like talk to them and hopefully they kind of understand that if they don't, I feel like I could actually like reach out to you if you can help or support me.
100%. I can do check-ins weekly if you would like, just so we can stay connected and I can support you while you work on your goals. But I just want to say, any step in forward direction is a step. Even if it feels like it was just a small conversation with them, that's still you taking a leap of faith and trying to make a change, which shows a lot of progress and strength.
So much. I get it now. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for coming to talk with me today. Thank you for sharing everything, and I look forward to our next appointment. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out, and I'll schedule in for about a week. Does that sound okay?
That's okay.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Cheers.
Oh, wow.